and this is what you need to be doing. And I said, what, studying rap? Hip-hop? No one does that. And I wish I had listened to him at that moment, because I'd be in a different space now. But I do remember that here was this critical elder who was the only one of the elders who embraced and celebrated what I chose to do. The others thought I was crazy because I wanted to teach hip-hop, because I believe in the power of it. I wanted to show you a video from one of the programs that I work with, and this project is in Washington, D.C., and I spent the summer working. You guys heard of the Boondocks? Yes. Okay, you ever heard of this MC by the name of Asheru? Okay, Asheru did the theme song for the Boondocks, and Asheru is an educator and has designed multiple curriculums using lyrics from hip-hop, and I worked with him in this program, and he brought me down from New York to spend this time. But this is a short piece on some of the kinds of work that I do. Is there one? So that's the hip-hop, using hip-hop to empower young people. I started doing this work, I'm not even going to say how long ago, but now, I remember there were a few of us doing it. I knew there were some folks in London doing it. There are a few folks in Cape Town, in Johannesburg doing it, some folks in Brazil, and a couple of people in the Bay Area and in LA. And now I know that there are many programs that train hip-hop activists and hip-hop educators to take hip-hop into classrooms. I also know many people I went to college with who became teachers in math, science, history, and they've been using hip-hop for years as a way to teach, as a way to reach young people. And I don't believe it's specific that it's hip-hop, just hip-hop happens to be the popular music. I think the idea is that we're using creativity in order to get learners, young learners, to start to be excited about learning. And we're using the arts as a way to access their hearts and their minds, and that's what it starts. What I did first was I used hip-hop with my fellow artists. I wanted to become a better freestyler. You guys know what freestyling is? Is everybody in the room? Can somebody define it? For those who don't know? What's freestyling?
Right off the dome.
Can you say it so everyone can hear?
It's the act of rapping without thinking, just coming right off the dome and keep going, don't stop.
Coming off the dome, you keep going, you don't stop. Spontaneous, improvisation. So I started a project called Freestyle Union. And in Freestyle Union, we sat in a cipher. You guys know what a cipher is? What's a cipher?
It's a whole bunch of artists together, freestyle.
What's this right here?
The circle.
The circle, yes. Right, it's the circle, it's the circle. The cipher represents 360 degrees. It's about completion of thought. It's about giving and exchanging information, energy, and ideas. Cipher can be spelled with an I or a Y, right? You spell it both ways. Cipher is both a noun and a verb, right? It's a thing you go to, and it's the thing that you do. You want a cipher? You want a cipher? All right, so that's what this cipher is. So we would get together to have these ciphers. Now the root of the word cipher, is funny, is that I always believed, and I confirmed this with Harry Allen, the media assassin for Public Enemy years ago, is that cipher came out of, you guys heard of the 5% Nation? It's a sect of Islam, and it was very popular in New York City in the, say, early 90s. A lot of hip-hoppers became 5%ers. And so the language of this practice became a part of hip-hop, and when you were going to a cipher, you were going to study your lessons, right? You're going to study your lessons. And I said that at a lecture in Seattle in a workshop, and there was an elderly woman in the back who came to me and said, honey, I think you're a little bit wrong about the root of the word cipher. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, when I was a little girl in Louisiana, at my grandmother's church, they would have ciphers. And with them, a cipher was a party at the church. That was another word for partying at the church. And I thought it was interesting that both came from a spiritual context. They both dealt with spirituality, because for me, the cipher is a sacred space. For me, freestyling is a spiritual practice. Have you guys ever witnessed an artist, let's say it's a musician or a singer or a rapper, getting open? What happens when someone starts to get open?
All their emotions come out, and you just kind of see like that personal side of that person. You get to know everything about them just through that one song or that one.
Yes, their emotions come out, like they're uninhibited with showing those emotions. You get to see the insides of that person and who they are. And you see them go into the zone. So when someone is open, like their movements start to shift, their gestures start to change. And it is it's very distinct from when someone is not open. Like you feel them. How many of you have ever been to a church where people get happy? Catch the Holy Spirit. Or just feel it. Alright? That's getting open. Alright? The same thing happens in hip hop. So oftentimes in mainstream America, we come to know hip hop as this thing that deals with the dark side. Right? It's only about rebellion. And it's not true. For many people in hip hop is what they use to ground themselves, to stay sane. That's why you see some troubled people walking down the street rapping out loud. You guys ever notice that? They suppose they just walk down the street rapping. They don't care that anybody's listening or anything, because it's their way of like, don't mess with me today, don't mess with me today, don't mess with me today. Right? And that's the same thing that I do. So given that freestyling is that important to me, how many, are there a couple people willing to come down and freestyle?
Any artists in the house? Come on now.
Okay, so take your time.
You got me and Drew.
Take your time. We're going to get a few people up, all right? Take your time. Think about it. Marinate. Meditate.
Okay, we'll go to the extra credit.
We'll try a little freestyle stuff. And I started a project called the Hip Hop Arts Movement before I started Freestyle Union. And I was in graduate school at Howard, and I was connecting poetry to the performance stage, and it was sort of a reader's theater with poets, but we used hip hop beats and we also used lyrics, right? Little did I know we were a part of a movement that's now called Hip Hop Theater. And the Hip Hop Theater Festival is now celebrating its 10-year anniversary in New York City, and it's been to Chicago, and to the Bay Area, and to DC. And it's hip hop theater, but that's what we were creating. And then I realized that I wanted to be more specific with what I was trying to do, because I wanted to freestyle myself as an MC. And what's the best way to become good at something? Good practice. Practice with who? Good people. Good people. Practicing with good people. I say you practice with people that are better than you. That's how you become great. You humble yourself and you get around people who know how to do what you want to do. That's how you become great, right? And that's what I did. And we started this event. Now the idea for this event didn't come out of that. The idea for this event came out of my experiences in undergrad. I was on scholarship with the speech and drama team at Howard University. It was called forensics. You guys know forensics? Some of you competed in forensics? Individual events or debate? Not a one? Oh, one. Thank you. Okay, I competed in forensics. I competed in poetry, prose, dramatic interpretation, and then I did public speaking, informative, persuasive, and sales. And then there was one particular time, my third year on scholarship with the team, we got a new coach. I did not like this man, but it paid for school, and it was mandatory. It's kind of like when you play sports in college and you're a scholarship. You got to go to practice. You miss a lot of parties because you got tournaments on the weekend. But my sport wasn't basketball or soccer, it was speaking. I tried volleyball when I went to school as a walk-on, but I realized I wasn't that good. And then those girls hit the ball really hard. And so I said, well, you know what, I'm not that good at volleyball to hang on a college level. So I said, I'll go do what I do well, which is run my mouth. So that's how I ended up on scholarship with the speech team. This coach at district championships, one of my teammates was pledging a fraternity, and he overslept. And we had to leave him so we wouldn't all be late. And when we got to the tournament, the director of the tournament said you have to pay for his slots. You have to pay for his slots or cover his events. So the coach says, okay, he had 12 slots.